Sam, where are you from originally?
I was born and raised here. Grew up in Kamaki. Went to Waialae Elementary, Kamaki Intermediate, Kalani High School. Right now, I'm a florist. I own and run Aiea Florist.
Describe the boundaries of the district you're running in so that the audience will know whether or not they live in your district.
The boundaries of our district is kind of unique. It's actually from Halawa through Newtown above the freeway. So we got Halawa Heights, Aiea Heights, Pearlridge, Rose Summit, and Newtown.
How many candidates are there running for House District 33?
Well, there were three, but now it's down to two. So it'll be between Mark Takai and I running for representative.
Your primary race was unusual in that you were running against two incumbents in the race. How did that happen?
Well, because of the redistricting, it turned out very interesting because Mark Takai had to move from Pro City to Aiea in order to compete. And by doing so, he was not very happy, so he actually sued but lost. So he ended up coming on our side, and that turned out to be a very interesting race for them.
The two incumbents were both Democrats, and you're running on the Republican ticket. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. They were on the Democrat side, and I am the lone Republican. It's very difficult to find candidates in our district who are willing to run.
Why are you running for office?
Mainly because of the cost of living for us in Hawaii is just too extreme. People don't realize how expensive it is here and that it really need not be.
What can the people in Aiea look forward to if they elect you?
I have been part of the Aiea community for 20 years now, so I know pretty much the ins and outs of what we want to accomplish and what needs to be done. So that kind of helps, and I kind of know especially how the roads are being handled out here, being the delivery boy of Aiea Floors. So hopefully I can put my 2 cents in and help our families out here.
So would you agree that the economy in Hawaii has deteriorated considerably in the last few years?
I wouldn't say necessarily the economy, but people are having a harder time making ends meet. I just basically back to the original point of the cost of living is so high in Hawaii that people don't have the added expenditures that they would like to have. But I think being Hawaii and the market that we share with the tourism, that really helps us.
What can you do in the House to help if you're elected?
I believe if I make it to the House, legislation should begin and end with the family in mind. Be it taxes or regulations, a lot of it affects the family and how we operate our day-to-day lives. So that's where I hope to help.
What do you see as the most pressing issue facing the state now?
Oh, a couple issues actually. Rail is always going to be big and foremost on everybody's mind, and the cost of that may be very difficult to handle, but I still think it's basically still our cost of living. That seems to drive a lot of things, even be it from the homeless situation to the businessman.
Gambling seems to come up every year in the legislature. So far it's failed in the push of some legislators to make it legal, but they're persistent. Are you for or against gambling?
When it comes down to gambling, no, I'm not for gambling. I'm not for gambling here in the islands. But we do have other options possibly, even looking at the cruise line industry. That can actually work, being that whether you travel 3 miles or 2,000 miles to gamble, we have, I don't believe it's the same, because you have to travel. It's not the same as being able to gamble on the island itself. So not upon our lands.
You're the author of Buckaloose, Kaimaki School Days with Israel Kamakawiwo'ole. How did you come to write that?
Oh, actually, I wanted to tell my son the true story of Brother Israel as he grew up, because many people don't realize that he actually grew up in Kamakawiwo'ole and not Makaha. So when my family took a 2-week vacation to Korea, I took the time out to write the book and had it completed before they got back.
You wrote it in 2 weeks?
Yes, I wrote it in 2 weeks.
Where can people get a copy of that book?
You cannot anymore, I think, unless they come see me personally. I think I have the last remaining copies of that.
And so they should call you at Aiea Florist?
Or, yes, that might work. I'm hardly there. Best call me on my cell or look me up on my website, I guess.
On your campaign website?
Campaign website, yes,
Yeah.
and contact me there.
What's the URL for your campaign website?
Oh, votesamkong.com.
Transportation is a serious problem on our island and in your district. What is your solution to it?
Okay, yes, transportation. That's my #1 pet peeve, being the delivery boy. But the first thing we really need to do is combine the state and city roads division to make it just one. Understand, transportation has many divisions, be it the airport or harbors, but when it comes down to the roads, we should have just one roads division. So the state and city, whatever the project may be, is well coordinated. Right now, state has their planning department, city has their planning department, and they're planning on 2 different things. So, for example, when state had their plans and rail came in, I'm not sure what they did with their plans, but basically I think they just threw them out.
Your campaign motto is Kodomo no Tameni. What language is that? What does it mean? And why have you made that an emblem of your campaign?
Kodomo no tamani, for the sake of the children. Yes, what happens, well, having children on my own, that already put the pressure on my heart to do certain things, and react certain ways, but I have actually volunteered even for the school system, like at Webbling Elementary School. I'm still under school council, and the children are our future, and the opportunities that we can afford to give them and care for them, I feel are, well, maybe pushed to the side in a sense on, I guess, on how we want to educate our children. The values that I hold may be a little bit more conservative than what some of the things that they want to teach in the schools.
On your campaign site, you say that as an SCC board member at Weebling Elementary, you know what is holding back our education system. Tell us what the SCC board is and what the board members' responsibilities are.
Okay, the SCC is basically, what we do is, they call it in educational terms ACFIN, which is Academic and Financial Planning. So we set up our system so we kind of have an idea which way we want to head, where we're going to place our monies within the school so we can promote those plans. But, excuse me, the problem that's holding back education seems to be that we are kind of ruled by a multi-headed beast. We have the legislation who supports financially. We have the DOE itself, the BOE, and the unions involved. And they're not necessarily, because of it's a multi-headed beast, we have a hard time going in one direction forward, per se. And for example, even when they had Furlough Fridays, believe it or not, we know exactly who's who, how the child is operating in the school. And when furloughs came about, we wanted to help those below and just give them more instructional time. But due to the unions, we were not allowed to do that. We couldn't bring in, the students to just meet with tutors. Those little things kind of set us back, and that's the kind of headbutting that happens in the education system, that we really need to be able to communicate within the heads that we and move forward.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes. I believe the people of Hawaii, we just need to hold on to family values. Family values not being, against anything per se, but actually the family coming together. It's the family that makes things work. Don't depend on, outside sources or anything. If something happens, hopefully with our values we can keep the family intact and we can communicate with each other and help each other out. Don't let government do things or decide things for you. I think it comes down to the family, not government.